This book here I just reread. It says Vijnana Bhairava, Divine Consciousness. And I like to look at some of these old texts because I discover, that a lot of the elements of our practice, what we got from Rudy and Nityananda, that lineage, is basically described very well in these Kashmir Shaivite tantric texts. So I'm not encouraging you to necessarily read any text. There are a lot of Indian words, and it's not that easy to plow your way through all that. But I try to make it very, very simple. And some of these exercises, or what they call Dharanas, methods of becoming one with Shiva or Bhairava. Bhairava is the ultimate reality. So that by doing what we just did, if you did that over time intensely with one pointed awareness, you would eventually have this recognition and immersion in Bhairava, in the ultimate reality, emerging you, because that's what you are at your deepest. We are at our deepest level. So once we don't concentrate on anything else to be a distraction, in that silence, in that stillness, in that void, this pulsation becomes clear to us. And then you can also, of course, we can notice that pulsation in every aspect of our life. Because Bhairava is also the whole manifestation. It's both the infinite potential and it's also the infinite manifestation that rolls out and then dissolves. It's a big order to try to be Bhairava, but it's possible for us as human beings to be identified with that ultimate reality. So the degree to which we can identify with that, we really are free of so much of the distractions in life. And there are many other of these dharanas that emphasize different aspects that you also, of course, can reach Bhairava through concentrated awareness of the joy of being or the joy of doing anything. Even, you can hear a beautiful piece of music and you can just sense that music is coming from eternity and is dissolving into eternity. And after the sound is gone, it lingers on just as a reverberation, which has that joy and sweetness and aesthetic upliftment. And when you identify with that and you really feel that joy and let it fill you, then that's the essence of life. Another one of the dharanas or methods that are described, there are 112 of them, so obviously I'm not going through all of them here. But it's said very clearly that if you practice one of these dharanas in depth over a long time, it will liberate you. So, if you can imagine yourself in this void, imagine it being there, being in the void, being in the void, being in the void, and observing the awareness that grows out of that, it will liberate you. You will be identified with Bhairava or by Parashiva. There are many words for it, but it's the ultimate behind all of our existence. It also says in this text, that one of the methods is to work with a person of excellence, which is what I'm grateful for that I had with Rudy. and this describes our open eyes. That's why it takes a certain amount of training and work and different deep entry into these states in order to really have that impact on other people. And you can feel that in yourself as you start to open to what we're talking about and feeling it regularly in yourself. You will have a different impact on people around you. No question about it. So it's very, very practical. Another thing that is very good for people that they describe here as a dharana is to pay attention to the gap. We do it, in the gap between the in-breath and the out-breath. But you can also start to become aware of the gap between your thoughts. You have a thought, then there's a little gap, then comes another thought. They can be two positive things, or they can be one positive thing and a negative thing. 1 minute you think, oh, I want to do that. And then next minute you think, no, I don't really want to do that. And so instead of being torn between these two opposites, settle in the middle where it's silent. Don't let either of those bother you. What is going to happen will happen naturally. I'm great. Oh, I'm worthless. Don't go to either place. One leads to arrogance, the other leads to being stepped on by yourself and others. So be in that center where you can really feel the throb of energy and life and freedom within yourself, independent of anybody else. I mean, it doesn't mean that we are independent in this coarse sense of the word, but we are self-reliant when it comes to generating a state in ourselves that is in contact with our deeper self. But the interesting thing is that the basic practice that we do, the basic practice of breathing and paying attention to the space between the breaths, the double breathing where you really feel your heart open and the energy moving through your system and dissolving the tensions. This has a lot of these dharanas built into it.